Top 5 at 5. Educating. Empowering. Entertaining. We are the top 5.
Hello, hello, and happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, Landy. Hi, Diani. We want to send a happy Sunday shout out to our girl Hummy, she's not here with us today. But we're going to tap into her, make sure she's doing well in a few. Hi to Victoria. Hi to all the beautiful people out there. Like and share, post your flags. When you like and share, come back and tell us you shared, I shared. So we want to
Wait, let me share. Wait. I didn't share it. Wait.
We want to see where you're from, where you're tuning in from, and just loving up the Sunday. Like and share. Are you guys liking and sharing? Like I'm seeing
Yes.
like
I'm sharing now. I'm sharing.
like and like and share. Happy Sunday. Good evening to all the beautiful people. I'm your host, Colleen. Awesome.
All right. I liked that I shared.
I don't see I liked, Diani. I need to see I liked.
Oh,
And
I should have put
flag.
I liked. But I did share.
Flag. I want to see the flag. Hello, Patricia. Good evening. Hello, Geraldine. Hello, Pamela. Hello, Lacey. Hello, everyone. Savage Cabbage. I love
I
it.
like that.
I like that.
Bring to it. Savage Cabbage. Hello to you. I love your name. Petra. Hi, Hamelin.
Hey,
Hermes.
Tapping in. You see that? We called her
Yes.
and see that's the amazing thing. So great. Let's kick it off. What's happening in your world? What's new? Let's start with Diani. What's going on?
I want to talk about Texas, but first let's talk about Florida. We had the Super Bowl, right? So I wasn't here last week to talk about Florida and the Super Bowl and the no mask. And you'd almost think there was no COVID in Florida. So I come bearing news, guys. There's no COVID in Florida because we held the Super Bowl a couple weeks ago. And of course, for the media, of course, they showed like everybody was behaving themselves. But I can tell you that it was almost like there was no COVID. Restaurants were open. You could do in-person dining. Yes. So it was, yeah. You all saw the media, right? With Tom Brady. And first of all, we won. So we won, but it was interesting to see how everyone was just behaving as if there was no COVID.
No COVID.
COVID, ma'am.
Mhm.
None.
That's why I'm laughing, because it's just like, there's no COVID in Florida.
We had the Super Bowl.
this, and it's scary. It's very scary to know still, like, people are still dying, from COVID. We need not to be laxed on this and to think that it's gone. Like, when there are zero cases, period,
Mhm.
for a good time frame, where
Mhm.
for a couple, like 6 months, no cases at all, nothing's popping up, then I can at least try to let my guard down. But for
Mhm.
now, I'm masking up. No
Yeah,
COVID.
there's actually some new recommendations. They're recommending, the CDC is recommending to wear two masks, not
Yeah,
even one.
Oh, wow.
And I find it difficult to breathe with one, much less the two.
too.
And I was following some of the statistics here in New York just to kind of look at the numbers. And even though people are getting the vaccine, there's a shortage of vaccines out there. Because what happens is that if they're not used within a certain time frame, they're no good anymore, right?
Mm.
Right.
They expire, and they expire rather quickly. There's a whole process of how they have to be kept cold and all of this stuff. So we're not getting the drive of people wanting to do this is not there. So then there's a lot of vaccine that's going to waste. So
Mm.
if you are somebody who really wants to take it, I know for New York, you can go online and you can look it up and you can find out where it is, book an appointment, and you can go. But even though you're, like I'm saying, you're hearing about people not even caring about it, and then they have the vaccine and people are not taking it and it's going to waste. Like, how long are we going to stay in this? Because I'm getting really frustrated with the fact that I can't move the way I want to move. I wanted to go visit my father, and now they have additional restrictions in place that before I go, I have to do a test before, and then when I get there, I have to test again before I reach 14 days before I can be let out into the wider community. There's just so much more layers, and it makes it very difficult to try and get somewhere. And I think the longer people stay away from getting the vaccine, is the longer we're going to continue to be in this place where it feels like a purgatory. You want to move, but you
Mm.
can't move. If you want to move, you have to do all these things. It's just a lot. It's just a lot.
Let me ask you, Landy, you work in the health field. Have you taken it or do you plan on taking it?
I've had a lot of discussion back and forth with my husband, and he's a big proponent of taking it, and I'm
Mm.
not. But I
That
do think,
surprises me because you're in the health field.
I know everybody says that. I'm just skeptical because I don't know how long it's going to last. And I don't like the idea of, if I do take this shot and they say, well, you've taken it, and 3 months in, they say, okay, it's no good anymore. You have to take it again. I would just like to know, like, is this going to be good for a year, 5 months? Like, what is this? And
Mhm.
that we really don't have any answers, because right now it's like we're all a part of an experiment.
Pretty
And
much.
Yeah.
yes, it can give us, taking it can give you some sense of security to know that you might have one layer of protection, but we don't know how long that's going to last.
And how
And
effective it is.
that's what I'm, well, that's it.
Yeah,
That's
because a
it.
lot of the times, I've been hearing a lot of the back and forth. People are saying, well, if you take the shot, you still have to wear a mask. You're still encouraged not to go around people who
Hmm.
might have been sick, or just still have those precautionary measures. And I'm starting to think, well, I'm thinking, if I get the shot, it's to prevent me from getting sick. So the
Hmm.
fact that I can still get sick worries me. It
Mhm.
Yes.
worries me. So that's another reason why I question the vaccination. And I would say I'm going to give it until the end of the year, just to
Okay.
be safe. I don't
Hmm.
mind taking it, but I know ultimately I would have to, because I would be in the school system. And
Yeah.
I mean, they're not forcing teachers to do it, but also I know I'm going to be around kids. I'm going to be around other staff members. I don't want to
Hmm.
put myself and my family at risk, and I don't want to put my somebody else at risk. So I'm definitely thinking about it, but I'm still leery
Yeah.
about it.
Right.
Yes.
One of the things that
Selena
I would
says,
say,
I'm sorry, go
mhm.
ahead, Landy.
Go
I
ahead,
was
you can
saying,
read it.
Selena was saying she wears two masks all the time. She
Every
wears them
day.
every day.
I know.
So
Selena, I have a question for you. How do you do it?
you get
Because
used to
I
it.
stifle in one.
You get used to it. You know what's so funny with me? Because you guys, I've been traveling during this whole thing.
Right.
I literally walk into the house sometimes and forgot to take off the mask because I'm so
You're
used
saying, like, you
to it.
got so used to having
I
it
got
on. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this is a lie.
Mm.
For me, like especially if you're walking up the stairs or you're doing something, it's like you're losing your breath while you're under that mask.
Yes.
But I keep
Mhm.
Mhm.
reminding myself, okay, lose your breath and
Or
not your
lose your life.
Yes.
and not your life, okay? Because you're taking it out. And another thing I started doing, and I let my sons do it too, like we come from the store, we Lysol wipe everything down, the juices, the
Mhm.
everything, because again, you see people in the store wearing the gloves. And mind you, people, you're protecting your fingers, but you're also passing on those germs onto the things you're touching too. So
Yeah.
don't get it twisted. If you're going to touch one thing, take that glove off and throw it away, because then you're still making it unsafe. Right. Someone says, oh, Selena says, I bought something that goes in the mask. So that helps her, I guess, with the breathing. Um, that's a good thing.
She's also in education. She's my sister-in-law. Um,
Oh, okay. That makes
yeah,
sense. That
yeah. So
makes sense.
she's in teaching also. So I mean, and
Yeah.
I have a sister who also works with the school board, and she says she has to wear everything, the visor, the
The
whole
whole,
nine
yes,
yards, all day long.
to cover. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we just have to be safe out there, people. Just continue to be safe out there. Until they say to you that this virus has disappeared completely, keep your mask on, wear your gloves, walk with multiple gloves if you're going to use it. Get your bottle of hand sanitizer because it is real.
Yeah,
It still
yeah,
exists. And again, when you think about how the Black community is accepting the vaccine, we're not too accepting of it. So just still be on your guard.
yeah.
Okay, guys. So
Yes.
moving right along, it's Black History Month. What have you guys done in terms of, have you been watching movies? I think I saw someone higher up in the chat suggesting to watch Amend on Netflix. I have not heard of that movie, but
Mm-hmm.
I will definitely look into it. Geraldine
Hmm.
suggested Black History Month. Please watch Amend on Netflix. Guys, we only have 1 month, the coldest month of the entire year, to celebrate. And I think Black History should be celebrated every day, right? Because you don't change color. You are in the skin that you are in, and you should celebrate it every day, not the coldest month of the year and the shortest month too. So,
Hmm.
and for me, what I've been doing for this Black History Month, my son is doing this project on Nelson Mandela, and they called him Nelson. And I said, you know what? His native name was not Nelson. So don't use Nelson, use his native name. Because again, that's how we're whitewashing information for our kids, not
Hmm.
digging deep and finding out about the history.
Yeah.
Nelson, in Africa, they usually give children a white name, like with most cultures, for people
Yeah.
to be able to pronounce it, or, don't take that away from kids. And I think that's what I'm going to strive to do: learn people's names. Their parents gave them that name for a reason. It comes with, a lot of cultural ties, a lot of history. And so I'm pushing him and encouraging him to use that name. So that's what's happening in my world. Nothing fancy, just enjoying the skin that I'm in. So
Yeah.
let's move on, Diani. And I think we have to tap into our girl Hummy to check how she's doing out there in Texas. I'm hoping that she's still on so we can call her and hear how she's doing, how her experience was for this very trying time for Texas.
So I've learned more about power grids this week than anything else,
School is
right? So if you would have been under a rock if you haven't heard what's going on in Texas. Well, there were a lot of states that were affected, but I think Texas was the most highly hit. We know all the way from Texas to Ohio, there has been a terrible, terrible, terrible snowstorm. So it's like one crisis to the next. First, they had the snow, then the frigid temperature, then no power in order to heat. So we know that over 58 people so far have lost their lives. There are people that are dying from not only being frozen to death, but from carbon monoxide poisoning. And I would love for us to talk to Hermie to kind of see how she's doing. Hermie, our other guest host on the show, resides in the state of Texas. So we know that ERCOT, the elect.
She's
Are you
on.
here? Oh, she's here.
Hi,
Hi.
Randy.
Uh,
How are you?
doing?
well, we are here. As you know, we are still out of water in my apartment complex. So we are in a hotel. We'll be here until probably Thursday. But thank God they come to our room. So we got 3 nights for free.
Nice.
Oh,
But they're
well, that's good.
yeah. But yeah, as I said, I can't hear you guys that well. So I'm just going to talk. So, I mean, as you know, we guys in Texas, we wasn't prepared for this at all. Well, most people was not prepared. Even the Texans were not prepared. We had meetings about this snowstorm, and no one told, like had an emergency, like, fill it up with water, go into survival mode. We just act like it was like, okay, it's just going to blow over and this was going to be that. But when the power went off about 1 a.m. Monday morning, that's when I think we started to be like, okay, I think this is a little serious, but not that serious. We thought the light was going to come on like in an hour or 2 or so. But I think we was without power that day for like 8 hours or so. I think, I can't remember. And that's when they told us they were going to put us on rolling power, like couple hours on, couple hours off. And let me tell you guys, it was really cold. It was cold. It was a cold you have never felt before. It's like you felt like you were sleeping on the snow outside.
Oh, wow.
Hermie, can you hear me?
How fast it got cold. And then in our complex, 3 pipes burst. And that's what put us in in some kind of danger, because everybody was panicking now because there is no water, and most people didn't, we fill up some stuff with water the night before just because, like, I'm from the Caribbean. I was like, let's fill up some pans and, and pots with water just in case. But no one, there was nothing on the news telling us do that. No one was calling and saying do that. I just did it because of growing up back home. And thank God we did that, because that water lasted us 2 days.
Oh, wow.
But then when the water was over, then we had to get out of there, because then it was just getting chaotic. The people was trying to illegally turn on the water and stuff like that. So I mean, I didn't experience anything bad as some people, like some my coworker. Well, not my coworker. One of the ladies that work with us, her house burned down because of a blow up bed caught on fire, so she lost her house and her dog through that.
Oh,
but I mean, just being like in the dark, in the thing without water, that's just kind of like you just have to go into survival mode. It's just like you have to put like kind of mind over matter, because it could take a toll on mind, because especially if you are not prepared for that with food. We couldn't get food because, as I said, for me, I didn't know, my sister lived in Texas for how many years, and she never experienced that, so she couldn't tell me what to do. So even though we ordered food like days before the storm, it couldn't get delivered. Walmart is already out of groceries, and it's still out of groceries.
Yeah.
So there's still limited things you can buy. We still have no water at our place. So, economically it's hard, because you have to you just have to dish out a lot of money to just survive. A couple days.
So Hamilton, I know you said you guys were in a hotel. So how long are they expecting you guys to stay there? How long would it be until you're able to go home? How long are they going to take to fix the water on the pipes in your building? Because I know if it's still cold, most of the time, you have those busted pipes because of the ice, right? It's so cold that the pipes freeze and they bust as a result. So how long are they telling you guys that you would have to stay at that hotel before, They
are not giving us any ETA on it. Every day around between 5 and 5:30, they send us an email letting us know if the water is on and the contractors are there fixing, and bear with us, be patient, and and stuff like that. But no ETA. So we will be here until Thursday, and we are praying, keeping our fingers crossed that we could go back home before Thursday, because that's a long time. That would be like 8 days in a hotel. But as I said, thank God, we don't know how that happened, but when we were going to pay for until Thursday, and when we went downstairs to pay yesterday, the manager came to our hotel, so we wasn't charged until Thursday. So he gave us the extra couple days for free.
Amazing. Shout out to that hotel guy. Shout out to him.
The Meridian, yes.
Yes, shout out to the Meridian for that.
Oh, yeah. And let me, the lawyer in me is reminding Texans, if you have renters insurance and anything like that, you should be cashing in on those policies. If you have homeowners, you have renters, now is the time to call them up, because they should be comping and paying for your stay while you're not in your and your landlord too. Remember, when all this is said and done, the landlord has a duty. So just remember your landlord. If you're renting, your landlord does have a duty. So keep that in mind. So Hermie, how is your family?
We're going to tap into that when we get back, and everything like that when we get back home. Oh yes, oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. So how is your family, Hermie? How are they keeping up? How are their spirits?
I mean, well, as I say, I grew up in the Caribbean, so I mean, the first part of my life, first 12 years, I mean, we accustomed going out without water. And light was, the last 2 years there. So I could adjust my mind, but of course the littlest one, and Daniel could adjust. So that the little one I don't think his mind has switched to survival mode, because he's still going like, I can play online with my friends.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Breakfast, he do save half of his breakfast for like later, because I guess he's like, I don't know if I'm going to eat later. So he is doing that part, but like the computer part, he's still like, because even when we were there and there were no light, he was like, oh, can we do this? I'm like, this works with light. Can we do that? This works with light. And he didn't realize so much things work with electricity. So but and of course Daniel was like, so when we had a meeting, they were saying, I said, well, guys, you may have to like use the bathroom through a plastic bag. Daniel was like,
Who suggested that?
Yes. She said, do what? I said, so what if you didn't have money for a hotel, right? You didn't have no money. You didn't have any money. What would you do?
Hermie, I grew up in the Caribbean, and that would be a tall order. That's a tall order.
I don't know if I could have done it. You'd have to probably something.
That reminds me of those little plastic bags, that the people that walk the dogs, they walk around with. That's the visual I just got with that. But let's Hummy.
We didn't know when with Texan, like some people at my job, what they did, and which I did. I looked at the bathtub. I said I should fill it. But then I was thinking to myself, well, why would I be filling the bathtub with water? We're not going to be using that water. It's going to be dirty water.
Right.
And then for the toilets, the water, when everybody like, did you fill your tub so you can flush your toilet? I'm like, no.
I think that's a Midwestern thing, because I know in Michigan that's a common thing when we see it. But nobody expects you guys to get hit like that in Texas.
Yeah, exactly.
This is definitely unusual.
Snow.
And the thing about it is that the whole fact that this type of weather pattern has appeared, that in itself tells us how we are destroying the environment.
Global
and
warming.
all of these strange things are happening because we're not taking care of the environment. So this is clear evidence of our own self-destruction. What's interesting is that next week, the temperatures in Texas are supposed to be between 70 and 75 degrees. Yeah. So it will be warm again. And that's starting probably tomorrow.
We have to.
So it's just really strange.
We definitely have to pay attention to global warming. It's real, and I think with happening in
Yeah, after
Texas.
this, I'm definitely
Yes.
doing an emergency bag pack, something like stuff to charge phone stuff. I'm definitely doing that. Like what I did after New York had that blackout, I had like a basket with a whole bunch of water stuff. I have to go back and do that. We didn't have that here at all. So
That sounds like an amazing plan for me. I think that sounds like an amazing plan, you know, thinking
yeah,
about
and,
other people.
and then we couldn't borrow light from any other state because as you heard, Texas on its own grid, so you couldn't borrow
Right.
no light from the neighboring state. So that's why we out of light even now because they can't borrow light because Texas has its own light.
So, so Hemelin, I want us to talk about that since, you know, like Texas has their own grid. And as we were seeing while you guys were going through this hardship down there, yeah, Mr. Ted Cruz
Was in Mexico.
was on his way to Cancun. And basically at this point, he's blaming his 10-year-old and his 12-year-old daughters for this decision. And, you know, sometimes I wish that having access to these politicians were at a, you know, we can make those calls. Because again, you know, hearing all these things that you guys have to face, you know, no light, no water, no electricity. Now, you know, you're in a hotel and he's not thinking about those people that he's sworn to protect in terms of making sure that in emergencies like this that your people are your priority. So how do you, first of all, I want to know what's your take on that, his little shenanigan that he pulled.
Actually, they are mad. They are saying there are a lot of petitions out right now, either to sign him out of office or to like never vote for him. I guess when he wants to run for president, they are saying, "Remember this, Texans. Remember this this situation when he decides to run in 2024, whenever that time is." So, but people are really mad. Even people who vote for I guess for him on the job, they were very disappointed in the action, and they're like, okay, well, it may have been a planned vocation, but you know, we vote you in for a reason, and this is one of your jobs that you need to accomplish before you leave on a vocation. Because as I said, even the real Texans, some of them was not prepared. So it's like, and they are the ones. Some of them are without light and water. There are still people here without light and water.
Absolutely.
So it's hard for them. They have to. I know two of.
So I know that he just made a statement basically blaming his daughters, but he really did not address any of the changes that he's going to make, like what he's going to do.
I don't know. I haven't read, to be honest with you, I haven't read much about it because, as I said, we still kind of still in survival mode in our brain, because even though we have here up to Thursday, we still go, okay, so what after, if Thursday water isn't back, what are we going to do after Thursday? So I'm really not paying attention to him right now and what they are saying. I'm just kind of like, we just kind of just living day to day, like, okay, what's going on today? I'm not even thinking about tomorrow, like what is going on tomorrow, like, you know, so it's just like in the moment, we just living in the moment for now. But my mind is on Thursday, like, okay, I hope between Monday to Wednesday the water is back so we can go back home.
Another thing that I want you guys to chime in to this one. The mayor of Texas, the mayor of a small town in Texas, Mr. Tim Boyd, he made some very stupid comments, I would say. He's basically asking the people of Texas to stop complaining about the cold snap. He also said, and I quote, "No one owes you or your family anything, nor is it the local government's responsibility to support you during times like this."
The thing is with Texas, because Texas is so big and there are so many counties, they have so many leaders, so everybody's just saying every old thing for it. So like in my community, we have like a whole different leadership, Sisters County, and like, you know, so it's kind of difficult. It's like a city within a city within a city. Each county has their own rule, So even though like one county might have light and water and everything, another county is dissing their governor of, of not taking care of them. So it's like how we have the whole mayor of New York and he's doing everything for New York and Staten Island and stuff like that. It's not like that here. Like Denton has his own little constituency. North Dallas has his own little constituency. Carrollton has his own little constituency. So it's what that mayor, whatever is in charge of that little county, is what he's doing for his county too. So he might be saying that for them, but that might just be related to his county and not necessarily mine.
But I think regardless of what county you're from, that should not be, something that you say at a time like this. People are, going through this hard time, and you're making these kinds of comments in terms of you're basically on your own. And I think that just goes to show a lot in terms of the politicians that needs to be out and not remain holding seats where they're endangering the life of people with their negligence and lack of care. But, in terms of that, he did have to resign, thank God. And it was a speedy resignation because of those very comments. And I think at this time right now, we have to be very, very careful of the people that we put in place to take care of our, needs. I think it's, because again, you're out of your comfort zone, and this man is taking trips, and this one thinks that you're responsible for your situation, even if it's out of your hands. So again, that's why voting is important. But Hummy, we're glad to hear you. We're glad to hear that you're safe. You and your family are good. You have a lot of shout outs. Everyone is keeping you in their prayers, sending you shout outs. Great to hear you from a lot of our guests. So definitely great to have you.
Guys for checking in.
Yes,
thanks for me.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Hermes.
I'm going to watch the show online now.
Okay.
Thanks, Hermes. Thank you.
Yeah, guys. So what did you think about that?
Well, I'm just glad that she's safe and her family is safe, and that she's a quick thinker, because she's a strong Caribbean woman and she kind of knows how to think on her feet. And that's what you have to do. Yeah. This is survival of the fittest. And you'd be surprised at how when these situations come up, it really shows what you're made of. So she's made some good choices. She's in the right hotel. She stocked up on her water. Her kids are conserving their food. And they're learning how to live without having internet access. My God, I would know when we went through this when we lost our power, when we had that what was it, superstorm Sandy. Yes. Sandy. Yeah, we have a lot of big trees in my neighborhood, and there was a tree that fell and all of the power was out. We didn't have power for days. We had no heat. We were lucky enough to borrow a generator from a friend of ours who lived close by, and we would only use it for maybe an hour at a time. We had no gas in our cars. We couldn't go anywhere. We had to walk and look at apps and figure out who had gas and if we could walk to get there to even get gas, to put gas in our cars. And that whole experience, even though I don't think it lasted for a week, but it really, really made you step back and see, if things go wrong in your community, can you go to your neighbors? Will they help you? Or do you have to make sure that you have everything prepared in a way? Because when things get really tight, nobody's helping the next person. You had people going to the gas station with buckets. They didn't even have the red cans, plain buckets. It's like everybody was in a rush. And don't you dare butt in front of somebody else who was waiting there for the last 2 hours because they're ready to fight. So it can get really nasty. It can get really nasty. I'm happy that the weather is going to change and that it's warming up, so that, hopefully things will be able to get back to normal faster in Texas.
I'll give her credit. And when she said, look, I'm Caribbean, I fill up my bucket with water. I mean, I just wanted to reach out and give her a hug because it's something that we do. It's something that we do. But I hope her children are okay, because I can be resilient, but I don't know if my kids can be as resilient. So I really hope her little guys are doing good. And, for everybody in Texas, I wouldn't even give this conversation the time of the day by acknowledging the politicians and what they've done. I don't even want to say Ted Cruz's name out of my mouth, because I don't think he deserves to be a part of this conversation. And so, Kalina, I'm really glad that you kind of went around that and say, let's talk to Hermie. Let's see how Hermie's doing. Because
Yes.
these politicians, let me tell you,
Hermie counts.
Democrats or Republicans, they're not worth the ticket they're all sitting on. So I think we have to learn as a people to stop relying on these losers, because they're not going to help us when push come to shove. So I'm so glad when Hermie said, look, I don't even want to talk about it, because quite frankly, Ted Cruz is not going to save Texas. So Hermie, you're saving yourself and your family. Thank you.
Hey, so you guys, I have
When not getting old. Wait, we gotta say hi to Wendy Bravo.
Yes.
Hi, Wendy.
Thank you. Listen, she's just blowing it up, and I'm like trying to keep the face, and I'm looking at her comments, and I'm like, okay.
She wants to take you on a date, Colleen. You got to make sure you call her for a date.
Call her.
She knows, I'm a girl that could eat. So don't ask me out on no date if you ain't ready to buy me the food that I want. Okay. I like ribs. Okay. Let me stop. But, and I think too, yes, sometimes we have to kind of like put those politicians on a back burner, but we also have to talk about them to let the people know what a horrible job they're doing and why they don't need to come back. Because I don't think saying that the city and the county alone with power providers or any other service owes you nothing. I'm sick and tired of people looking for a damn handout. You need to go. Okay. Yeah. And I'm glad that they got him out, because think about, we're in a pandemic. People already having a hard time getting food. People are hard time keeping their lights on, getting all the things that they need. And now there's a storm, and you're saying that they're looking for a handout. You know what? Stop taking the people tax money. How about that? And see where your paycheck comes from. And then talk to them after that. When you're not getting paid and when your financial situation comes very similar to the ones that you're looking down on, and see how you feel about that. And I think that's what some of these politicians lack. Soul, empathy. And just plain care. People are dying. People died because of that. Fallen trees, cold, extreme cold. And you made a comment like that. That's why they didn't vote you back in. But we are going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about my backyard. Yes, Annandale Waterfalls. So we'll be back after this.
I'm excited.
Oh my God.
To get things done. So I ended up going to Albany with this group of people who I never met before. And I was told to walk around and talk to politicians and tell my story about why am I here and why this is important for them to support. So everything from that just kind of snowballed. I made a really, really good connection with the group who was there. A lot of them were people who interact a lot with the government agencies and so forth. So they brought me under their wing, and I told my story, and it just ballooned from there. I decided to become an ambassador for my area, and my goal with that relationship was to build a relationship with my local politicians here and the ones that represent in Washington, to let them know what was happening with Alzheimer's, give them information, let them know that we need their support and so forth. It just opened a whole new world of people to network with and people who felt as passionate as I did about this cause, and I still do to this day. In 2020, I was nominated for the Carlino Award, which is the award for advocacy work. So I was really, really proud of that.
What you do makes a difference, and you get to decide what difference you make. All Pro Health Staffing. www.allprony.com. Hey, I got some good news for you. Looking for a passionate immigration lawyer with experience that spans over 2 decades? Someone trusted that served immigrant families just like yours? Well, look no more. Now you can benefit from her personal and professional experience. Diane Winter Funde. Schedule a consultation now and get assistance with your immigration journey. Specialize in adjustment of status, B1 business visa, B2 visitors visa, consular processing, deportation defense, naturalization, and more. Give us a call today at 813-815-3529. That's 813-815-3529 or online at winterimmigration.com. Attorney Diane Winter Funde. Law done differently.
Amazing. Oh my gosh.
Landy, tell us
Landy,
wait a minute, Landy. What's going on in your world?
Landy was giving me great
Busy. That was
Tell
just
us-
created yesterday. I was on a podcast yesterday, and Junior came into the room. And then he was just videotaping me while I was speaking, and then this is where we have this little commercial for my business.
Tell us about your business.
So I have I'm a nurse by profession, and I do consulting services for home care companies. I teach dementia care as well as CPR and all of those things. I work for attorneys in providing clinical expertise, and I'm starting my own staffing agency next month.
Amazing. Okay, Black Girls
Yeah.
Rock.
Congratulations, Landy. Congratulations,
Wow,
Landy.
thank you.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my God. You
Thanks,
see,
guys.
and that's what I love. You know, when our people elevate themselves and they elevate other people, I get those butterflies, you know, those little tingles of, you know, proud moments. Oh my gosh, Landy,
Yes.
I was looking at this like my mouth was just like,
I loved it.
Well, you
I
see,
asked-
we're all making Black history every day, and this is what
Every
we
day.
have to do.
see,
Make our own
Black
history.
every
Yes.
Every
Not only
day.
knowing the past, but knowing what we're doing going forward and helping our communities and helping our families and building legacies and wealth for our own. So this is what it's
And
about.
everybody's saying congrats, Landy, Hermes,
Yes, you're getting shout out.
Wendy, Selena, Natasha, everybody, Geraldine.
I'm embarrassed because I'm not somebody who's really, I'm not really one of those people that puts
Listen, let it soak in. Take it in.
Let it
because
soak
you're
in.
doing great things. Take it
Thank
in,
you.
let it soak in, you know, and it's awesome
Mhm.
and it's amazing. And just seeing that one, it's like you get that from a woman, you know, a woman is doing something so powerful, and then two, a Black woman is doing something so powerful. That
Yeah.
And 3, a Caribbean woman. I'm sorry.
okay,
Yes.
yes, let me count that over. 1, a woman. 2, a Black woman. 3, a Caribbean woman. Okay.
4,
That's right.
4, a wife. 5, a mother.
Mom. Yep.
The list
Yes, we can
goes
do what we
on
put our
and
minds to, definitely. Mhm.
Yeah.
I think from 1 to 100, we wear so many hats. 100 is
We
just
do.
like so short. compared.
Congrats, Landy. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
So Landy, let me tell you. So now, when you get
Mhm.
those big checks, now you could take us to the Wild Orchid.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Talking about the Wild Orchid, I know you guys heard about the listing on the Waterfalls, which is located in my backyard, New Hampshire, Willis. However you know us, you know we're there. And so several months ago, the Ministry of Tourism announced that they're going to be listing out the waterfalls. Now, a lot of people did not accept it openly because they figured, well, it's going to be privatized. The local people would not be able to enjoy the waterfalls as they used to. But, I think back to when I used to visit the waterfalls. I love the experience, but I also now, think that there's so much we can do to improve it. And I'm so happy and I'm so proud of those management people that are leasing the waterfalls now.
Mhm.
an extension. There is I don't know if they can show the wild orchid again. That was never there before. We never had that spot to come and sit down and drink and have such a beautiful evening. And now we do.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's gorgeous.
oh my gosh, you should see the lights.
That is beautiful.
You see that? Take that in. Take that in. I just want to say to my people out there, where you vacation is where I live. Okay, that I just had to throw that out there.
So let me ask you this, Colleen. Have you had the opportunity to jump in the hole? Are you a swimmer?
A hole? Listen, that's where I learned to swim. Okay.
Oh wow.
That's where I learned to swim. My uncle, you see that standing thing right here, that little jump off section?
Yes.
My uncle said, "Okay, you want to learn?" I said, "Yes." He just pushed me in. You know,
oh wow.
dog paddled my way out, and that was it. I learned to swim that day, and I never left the water. I love water. But, you know, again, it's just like that lighting, that scenic view.
Gorgeous.
I just want to know from my people. I know some of you are from Grenada. I know some people had a very hard time accepting the fact that it's going to be privatized. As I was reading the article, they did talk about, you know, like an admittance fee. We were talking about that, Diani. And to be honest, I feel as though, you know, if that little fee is going to help with the maintenance and the beautification of this place, listen, support your community. Invest in your thing, because again, people are going to come, they're going to admire it, they're going to talk about it, they're going to encourage people to visit, and it only helps you. It only helps the people in your community, because they're the ones going to be hired to take care of it, to clean it, to plant in there, to maintain it, you know. So I'm just loving it, and I'm proud that it's happening in my community, in my backyard. And I want to just shout out one of my best friends from secondary school, who's a bartender there, Viasha. And, you know, I cannot wait to visit. So, Yolandi, I'm just saying, you know, when those checks start rolling in, we can go.
You can take it, girl.
I'm willing to go already. I'm so ready with my suitcase. You have no idea. Just to go anywhere. It's a beautiful place. And Diani, Rick's Cafe. Have you been to Rick's Cafe in Jamaica?
Yes.
So, and that's also a waterfall. And I know that it's a major tourist attraction. And this is going to be a big place too.
I don't think it's a waterfall. It's just the ocean. You just jump into the ocean.
You just jump over. But I know they have the restaurant, and I've never been to that area. I've never been to Rick's Cafe, but it's listed in all the tourist books and magazines as one of the places to visit. And now that Grenada has this beautiful Annandale Fall, that this will also drive a lot of tourists out of like St. George's into the other parishes to see more of the beauty in the other places, because the island is big. It's small, but it's big, and it's hilly, and it's green and lush and beautiful. And the more you expand, is the more you see the real beauty of the place. So I will definitely be going to that spot.
My only concern, because I'm from St. Anne, which is a country part of Jamaica, and we had Dunn's River Falls. That was for locals, right? Then it was privatized, and then they started with a little fee, and now that little fee has turned into them pricing out the locals. So I'm hoping with Annandale Waterfalls, it's not done in such a way where locals cannot, because, you know, the Dunn's River Falls started out very slowly as they privatized it, and now I can tell you most locals won't go because it's the admission is so high. So we've been essentially priced out, and they have two fees, one for local, one for tourist, but they have leaned, I would say 80-90% towards tourism after they privatize the falls. So I'm always curious when I see little nice, gentle, beautiful areas like this being privatized. Somebody who invested that money needs to get paid, and they're going to figure out ways to do it. So I'm hoping they do a nice, happy balance where a local can afford to go buy a red striped bear at Annandale.
Yes,
it doesn't become where, if you don't have US,
you can.
So I'm there's a gentle balance.
And I have to go with Petra on this one. She says, "Note the Grenadian people. I know that might not happen, and I'm going to agree with you for that." The waterfalls, the waterfalls is located in Willis. Okay, Willis has a great reputation. One that we're very nice. We're very tranquil people, but I don't think taking the waterfalls is in like a question. Right now, they're saying that the lease is 25 years, but every 3 years it gets reviewed. So it's not owned. It's just the management that is leasing. So they're just managing the area. I know for sure that they're saying that a fee is going to be charged. What I don't know is how much that fee is going to be. And I'm just hoping that they consider that the local people should have a say-so in any type of decision being made in terms of charging a fee that the local people would not be able to afford. I don't even think they should be charging the local people to come to the
I agree.
when you come off that tourist bus, they should have something that is organized that you come off the bus, you pay your fee. If you're walking in, or like you're a local person walking in, there should be no fee. And I think the Grenadian people, especially the community people, will kick all hell if that ever happens. And then too, there's so many ways to get into that waterfall, not just through the entrance. So you'll have a very hard time, keeping the local people out. But that's another thing that, I want our government to be very mindful of. Now, a lot of people come from their foreign countries and they think that they can buy your country from you. And a lot of the time, politicians are greedy. They want to line their own pockets with the money, and to hell with those local people. I just want to say to my politicians and to my representative for the Northeast, please don't do that. I also want to talk to Ms. Modeste, right? Clarice Modeste, the Minister of Tourism. Please don't do that. Don't sell out what we know as our natural beauties. Please don't do that. Our people have enjoyed this scenic space for a very long time. I grew up going there. My parents grew up going there. So I would hope that they would consider the local people when they're making any, final or solid decisions based on what you were saying, Diani, that, they privatized it to the point where locals cannot even afford to go. And I don't want that to happen. I love what they're doing now so far.
So Wendy said that this is not going to happen, because if it does, we're just going to stone them, because
pretty much
Grenadian people ain't easy. We'll stone them.
I wanted to be very modest, like when we come to talk about when you come in. So one thing, when you come into Willis, know that if you're not really from there, for you, there's only one way in and one way out. So don't start nothing in there, okay? Don't start nothing with the
who took over the waterfalls? Is it locals that took it over?
So local.
It's a local company. So
not only local company, born Grenadian. So they're siblings, and they're the ones managing the waterfalls.
Got it.
Is some videos that just shows their future plans for the waterfalls, and some of the things that they're going to be doing, some of the changes they're going to be making. But what I loved about the comments he made was that this is our waterfalls. It's not mine.
Right.
That's good.
It's ours. And so that put me in a space where, I'm at ease to know that when I take my kids there, it's not a problem. Where, for me, I would consider myself a local. So I would want to take my children there to experience what I had growing up. Please, guys, I'm begging you, do not charge me to get, I would pay because I'm going to support my community, but don't make it hard where I can get in and where my kids can come in and where we cannot afford, to enjoy the natural beauties that, we grew up with. So
I agree.
That's my backyard, guys, and
it's gorgeous.
I love to tell those people that don't want to sit next to me on the train, girl, when you save all that money and you go to Grenada, you're coming to my country, okay? So where you vacation is where I live. Watch yourself.
Right? Yeah.
Watch yourself.
Yes.
Don't get too bossy. Don't come. I don't know if you guys ever had that experience where you go to the beach and they walk up to you, tourist people. They walk up to you and are you from here? And depending on your answer, you kind of get either they're genuine, like, oh, your country is very beautiful, your country is very this, but what I don't like is that you talk to me so nice on the beach and then we come back here and you're just an hole.
Mhm.
Be nice.
That's how it is, though.
Don't do that. Be
They
nice all the
should be.
time.
They should be.
They'll see me like
Mhm.
this, and they'll call me ghetto, but they see me on the beach and they be like, hey girl, hi. How are you?
Or put the responsibility on the people back home who treat us less than, because
True too.
we're not the you go to restaurants, bars for service, and they treat you less than because they hear your accent or they see you're a local. So I think the responsibility goes both ways.
Both ways. That's true. My local people, be nice. Don't be mean.
Mhm.
When we come, we spend a lot of money. It's hard. It's not easy to
Mhm.
vacation. And I think, when we come, be nice to us as we would be nice to you guys. It was an amazing show. I missed you guys. I missed the conversations. I miss hanging out. I love the audience. It's great to see everyone is safe, see everyone is healthy. I'm hoping and I'm praying that your families are healthy as well. And you guys are maintaining your 6 feet distance. Okay? All your shout outs. Shout out to Wild Orchid. Shout out to my boy Diasha. Shout out to my community, New Hampshire, Willis, wherever you want to call it, Constantine, my whole posse. It was great having you guys. It was amazing seeing you beautiful ladies. Landy, I'm so super
Good
proud
to
of
see you, Colleen.
Same here.
Good to see you too.
Bye, Hermie, if you're watching. Stay
Bye,
safe.
Hummelin. Bye, everyone. Thank you, my auntie Wendy. Thank you, Petra. Thank you, Geraldine. Hi, Deborah. Good night to you. Everyone who came in, who liked and shared. My girl Hummelin, thank you very much for letting us know that you're great. You're doing awesome. Love y'all. Bye-bye. Go, Landy. Go, Landy.
Alzheimer's Association of New York, and I decided to get involved. So at the time when I found them, they were planning a trip to go to Albany to do some lobbying to get more money for research and different things that they were trying to push along with their agenda. So I said, well, I want to go on this trip because this is going to be something that I can do, that I can feel like I'm involved in trying to help this cause, because Alzheimer's does seem like it's a very hopeless disease, but it does take people gathering together to to get things done. So I ended up going to Albany with this group of people who I never met before, and I was told to walk around and talk to politicians and tell my story about why am I here and why this is important for them to support. So everything from that just kind of snowballed. I made a really, really good connection with the group who was there. A lot of them were people who interact a lot with the government agencies and so forth. So they brought me under their wing, and I told my story, and it just ballooned from there. I decided to become an ambassador for my area. And my goal with that relationship was to build a relationship with my local politicians here and the ones that represent in Washington, to let them know what was happening with Alzheimer's, give them information, let them know that we need their support and so forth. It just opened a whole new world of people to network with and people who felt as passionate as I did about this cause, and I still do to this day. In 2020, I was nominated for the Carlino Award, which is the award for advocacy work. So I was really, really proud of that.
What you do makes a difference, and you get to decide what difference you make. All Pro Health Staffing, www.allprony.com. Hey, I got some good news for you. Looking for a passionate immigration lawyer with experience that spans over 2 decades? Someone trusted that served immigrant families just like yours? Well, look no more. Now you can benefit from her personal and professional experience. Diane Winter Funde. Schedule a consultation now and get assistance with your immigration journey. Specialize in adjustment of status, B1 business visa, B2 visitors visa, consular processing, deportation defense, naturalization, and more. Give us a call today at 813-815-3529. That's 813-815-3529 or online at winterimmigration.com. Attorney Diane Winter Funde. Law done differently.